You know how annoying it can be. Every time you try and settle down and just lead a quiet life, some movie director comes along and pulls you right back into another action flick.
Happens all the time, especially not only to AOK, but Liam Neeson, Charles Bronson, and
Sean
even
Connery.
Yeah, indeed Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
They've all been dragged back to the studio to record some 50-year-old butt kicking.
Well, the good thing about kicking 50-year-old butt is you actually don't have to lift your leg very high.
Just to the back of the knees. Denzel Washington is the latest, apparently, with a new movie, The Equalizer. We've dragged our own movie reviewer, Jason Jabba Davis, back into the studio to give his verdict.
It's not looking good by the look on your face, Chad.
Yeah, look, I was expecting a lot out of Denzel. He's had some fantastic films of late, Flight being one of them, and this has reunited him with
loved Flight.
Flight was great.
Oh.
Training Day was great. He actually won an Oscar for that, and this is the first time he's been reunited with the director of Training Day, Anton Fuqua. Say that very carefully. His turn as a sweet old man at a hardware store who's prompted to bring his deadly assassin skills out of retirement after seeing a young girl badly beaten, basically uses revenge as an excuse for 2 hours of mindless violence, culminating in this massive orgy of violence in a hardware store. It's like Friday the 13th meets Bunnings.
You think Denzel would know that violence is not the answer to violence?
Well, it's a paycheck, Andrew. This looks like being one of his bigger films. Unfortunately, that is the way it works in Hollywood. You've got to have a paycheck. You know, George Clooney, of course, he's in the news. He famously did one for himself and one for the studio. Yeah. With this one with Denzel, he's brought back to life an late 80s TV series starring
Edward Woodward.
Exactly right, The Equalizer.
What do you get if you take the D's out of Edward Woodward? Ewa woo woo.
Which doesn't have the same ring as a movie
could
star. The other disturbing thing about this is his hair.
Yeah, so in the credits, if you do go and see the film and you stay till the end, it's a long film. In the credits, there is an executive hair person for Denzel Washington. Not sure if you saw the graph, if you were watching carefully, pretty much like this. So I'd like to thank my executive hair person as well. Very disappointing, particularly when we love vigilante and renegade movies like Mad Max, Die Hard, Dirty Harry, even Death Wish. 1.5 stars. Look, it's going to do a couple of mil at the box office here in Australia. People will love it. Something that's not in as wide release, and I know that you guys had a great line to intro this.
Did we? Yeah.
Take my wife, please.
Yeah.
Is the premise.
It's the old Jewish stand-up routine, isn't it? Take my wife. No, seriously, take my wife.
That's
so
exactly
hilarious.
what happens in this film. Elmore Leonard has written the book. He gave us Rum Punch, which was the foundation for the Quentin Tarantino movie Jackie Brown. This is like a prequel to it with the most astonishing cast. You've got Isla Fisher, Jennifer Aniston in perhaps her best role ever. She's an executive producer of the film. It was Elmore Leonard's last project before he died. She's a trophy wife who gets kidnapped and the extortion attempt goes wrong. Let's take a look at Life of Crime.
Why don't you give him a call, sweetie?
All right, I got something to tell you first. Think it's gonna mess up your scam, but don't blame me, okay? It's the timing.
What time?
He filed for divorce 2 days before he came down here. When she gets back, if she gets back, the divorce papers are waiting for her.
Huh.
You tell him he's never gonna see his wife again.
He doesn't want to see his wife again.
You just saved him maybe $100 grand a year in alimony.
He said that to you.
He didn't have to.
Mos Def is the bad guy. Isla Fisher is the girlfriend of Tim Robbins, really yucky, shonky businessman Frank. This really surprised me. I thought it was going to be pretty pov, and it's actually really, really good. Life of Crime, 3.5 stars. Check it out if you can.
And Jennifer Aniston, you reckon it's one of her best roles, but have you seen The Good Girl? She's actually been in some sort of interesting movies.
Well, the last one we saw him was Where the Millers, but speaking of Girl, next week, Gone Girl, Ben Affleck, David Fincher team up. This looks like an amazing film, and we'll check that out for you on the show next week. And Dracula Untold, another Dracula movie. We need more vampires.
I can't get past Pretty Pov.
Pov, yeah, pretty pov. No. That's a houseo's phrase. It's chat.
That should be your new star rating.
Yeah.
You know, Rancid, Pretty Pov.
What would be at the top of that?
Choice.
Yeah.
That's more Kev the Kiwi's phrase.
Yeah, or
right.
Grouse.
Yeah, Grouse is
Grouse.
good. Yeah, Bonza.
Let's change the let's change your star
New
rating.
rating system.
Okay, as of next week.
Done.
Or just make a movie called Pretty Pov.
We have more on that in November.
Oh,
but
okay, sure.
Thanks to my hairstylist too. Appreciate
Executive hairstylist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3.5 stars for Jabba's hair. More on Weekend Sunrise in just a moment. Pretty cool.